In this lesson, we are going to cover two formulas: how to find the area of a circle and the circumference of a circle. Let's first start by distinguishing the difference between the radius and the diameter. Let's talk about the radius first. So the radius is the distance from the center to the edge of the circle. And the diameter is the distance from one end of the circle through the center to the other end of the circle. And the radius and diameter have a relationship, and that relationship is that the diameter is twice the size of the radius. So, for example, if the radius was equal to 8 meters, then the diameter would be equal to 16 meters, which is just twice. Another thing I want you to distinguish is the area and the circumference. Let's first start by defining the circumference. The circumference is the measurement of the outside of the circle. So if you were to measure the outside, if you were to walk around it, if you had a way to measure it, that would be the circumference. And the area would be the space that the circle takes up on the inside. That would be the area. Let's first look at the area of a circle. The formula is pi r squared, where that symbol right there, pi, is approximately 3.14. And the r stands for radius. So let's say we have this circle that has a radius of 8 centimeters, and I want to find the area. I simply would just plug in the 8 into the formula and then just do the math. Here 8 squared is 64. Remember that 8 squared, right? 8 squared means 8 times 8. That's why you get 64. And then 64 times pi would be about 200.96. So the area would be 200.96, and this would be centimeters squared. Let's say I'm asked to find the area of this circle. In this case, I'm given the diameter, which is the distance from that point to that point. And this formula requires the use of the radius. So if I'm going to use this formula, I first just have to get the radius, and I know that the radius is just half the diameter, so it would be equal to 6 meters. So that's what I'm going to use, 6 meters for the formula. So I'm going to just put pi times 6 squared. 6 squared is 36 times pi. And that is approximately 113.04. And the circumference, the units of that, is just one dimension, so it's meters. Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote A. No, that's correct. A is the area. I apologize. This should be supposed to be square. The area is in square units. For this next example, I'm going to show you how to use the formula to find the circumference of the circle. Remember that the circumference is the measurement around the circle. So I'll first start off by pointing out the radius and then the diameter. for each one of the formulas. These are the two formulas I can use. Let's say I want to use the first formula, this one right here. That one requires the use of the radius, so I would just use c is equal to 2 times pi times the radius, which is 6. And here I can multiply those two. 2 times 6, that's 12 times pi. And this is just a calculator problem, which results in 37.68. And the units of that would just be meters. In this case, this is a one dimension, the circumference, so the units is just meters. If I wanted to use the second formula, the second formula requires the use of the diameter. It's finding the same thing, but we're just using the different information. So in this case, the diameter is 12. So the formula says to use, the formula is pi times diameter. So it'll be pi, and the diameter in this case is 12. And then we see this, that is similar to this. So I know that my answer is going to be that too. So whatever information you have, if you have the diameter, use the diameter formula, or you can just change the diameter to the radius and then just use this formula.